going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackowitz. This is the Kaged Review. This is also a review for Monday Night Raw, and this is for 6/10/19. You start the show with Seth Rollins, does a promo. Baron Corbin comes out, just raucous boos, honestly. Like the crowd is just like letting people know now we're just sick of this dude. And the thing WWE does now that I've noticed is when somebody gets this reaction, even if they know it's because he actually sucks, they're going to use that reaction. They're going to use the fans' reaction because they don't understand the difference between heel heat and we don't want to see this guy on our TV heat. They think they can create heel heat, but it's just going to make us not want to see the guy on our TV even more. So with that said, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens comes out too, and they all cut a promo talking about how they got a match later, and yeah, I don't care, it goes nowhere. And that was the open. Really didn't care about any of it, if I'm being honest. It's all been done before. Lars Sullivan versus Lucha House Party. This was a 3-on-1 elimination match. So, of course, Lars Sullivan just takes these guys out pretty quickly, one at a time. A couple of good spots, though, on the outside. Like, he took out Kalisto first, and then he was fighting Lince Dorado. And while he was fighting Lince Dorado, he went outside the ring, grabbed Kalisto, and did a press slam onto the steps, and it just looked nasty. It really did. So it definitely gave him the monster look. I'll give it that. It worked as far as that goes. Then you get this weird 24/7 elevator bit. R-Truth, again, hilarious on most of the stuff he's doing. I really like him with the 24/7 championship. Him, Carmella, and Jinder Mahal in particular, I think have really created something with this. So it's very cool. Then you get Lacey Evans and Becky Lynch promos. I honestly was disinterested in this too. I'm not a Lacey Evans fan. She does nothing for me. The gimmick I'm not big on. I just don't gravitate towards it. I'm not big on how stiff she is in the ring. Becky can be very good at promos. Sometimes she's very just middle of the road. And I felt like this was very middle of the road. So after that, you get Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross. Alexa Bliss as trying to get Nikki Cross in her corner in this tag match later, and that's really all it comes down to. Then you get Miz TV with Samoa Joe. They have a back and forth. It's not even really an interview. It's basically just the two taking jabs at each other. Looks like they're going to start fighting at one point because Samoa Joe says something about Mrs. Family. Braun Strowman comes out, followed by Bobby Lashley, then Ricochet, then Cesaro. And not really much happens as they're all coming out. Ricochet is still at the edge of the ramp when Cesaro comes out. Cesaro doesn't even say anything, he just punches Ricochet. Everybody starts fighting. That turns into Samoa Joe, Bobby Lashley, and Cesaro versus Braun Strowman, Ricochet, and The Miz. The Miz, Braun Strowman, and Ricochet get the win, and that's really all I have to say about it because, again, I didn't care. Not very well constructed Raw this time. Backstage Baron Corbin interview, he gets joined by Sami Zayn, who says he has an idea because Baron Corbin gets to pick a referee for his next pay-per-view match with Seth Rollins. And so Baron Corbin has a match later. They're going to try out Sami Zayn, I guess. So Becky Lynch and Bayley versus Lacey Evans and Alexa Bliss next with Nikki Cross. Lacey Evans and Alexa Bliss get the win. Nikki Cross didn't even really come into play, so I don't know why they made such a big deal about having her out there, but whatever. It really didn't make much sense, honestly. Then you get backstage, Shane O'Mac, Sami Zayn bit, just basically confirming that Sami Zayn is going to be a referee tonight. Seth Rollins is taking on, I want to say Drew McIntyre. I'll verify that here in a minute, though. Then you get a Paul Heyman promo where Paul Heyman says that, since everything that's happened has happened to Brock Lesnar, he got wore out with the chair on Friday, that they're not going to tell anybody what they're doing or when they're doing it. So it's actually Money in the Bank briefcase now. You don't know when it's going to be used, which is the way it should be. Then you get part 2 of the elevator bit. I just caught bits and pieces of this, honestly. I didn't see everything. So I'll just revert back to R-Truth is gold with this. The Iconics cut a horrible promo, just terrible. And they have some local girls that they're fighting, and it was a complete squash match and absolutely pointless because, first of all, a squash match with the Iconics is ridiculous to think about, but there's no stakes, there's nothing to it. It should have never happened, honestly. So that's my thought there. Drew McIntyre, Shane McMahon, they have the Shane McMahon celebration, which just shows a bunch of stuff that Shane McMahon did, and then they have some champagne. Shane poured it into his Best in the World trophy and drank the champagne out of that. Literally nothing was any point to this. Then he calls down the Revival. They act like they're going to start drinking. Shane says, well, you're not invited to the party unless you win the tag championships. And that starts a triple threat match between the Revival, the Usos, and Hawkins and Ryder, who are the champions. I don't know, man. I like the Revival. I really hope they're just leaving WWE. I hope they stick to their guns. But they won the championships for a second time. So the Revival are the champions. I don't know, man. It was a good match, but I'm just really disappointed in everything with WWE right now. I'm really getting big time burnout with WWE, that's for sure. So after that, Charlie interviews Seth Rollins backstage, and Seth Rollins, he's like, I was ready for Brock Lesnar's cash in. I'll be ready for whatever they have for me tonight. Is basically what it comes down to. Then you get the elevator part 3, where the elevator, they were stuck in the elevator, and it finally opens, and a bunch of wrestlers try to charge. Big fight ensues right there in the lobby right next to the elevator, and Carmella drags R-Truth back into the elevator while the other guys are fighting, and they get away. Then you get the Firefly Funhouse bit, which was kind of odd this week. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of it. Bray Wyatt takes a big Sledge-O-Matic style sledgehammer and kills one of his little fake friends, and then like starts eating the blood. I guess it's some kind of jelly or something. It was just weird, dude. Just really off. And that brings you to Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. That's who it was, Kevin Owens. I was thinking Drew McIntyre, but Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens with Sami Zayn as the second referee in the main event. This was just not anything I cared about. And it's not because of Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens. I really liked it, but you kind of already knew that they were going to screw over Seth Rollins somehow. You knew that they were going to jump him at some point, and everything was going to, you kind of had the basics. So that's exactly what happens. Kevin Owens wins by DQ because Seth Rollins put his hands on Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn kept trying to screw him over. And at the end, Baron Corbin comes out. He attacks Seth Rollins from behind. Seth Rollins gets a chair, wards everybody off, and that's where they end the show. And when you can guess everything that's going to happen before it happens, or at least most of the things, you're not even trying. Like, none of this should be that predictable. And then you're using people that are just not entertaining. Like, I hate to say it, but they're not. Like, there is nothing interesting about Baron Corbin as a character. Not a thing. So overall, this show was really a letdown. And that's coming from like the last few weeks of Raws. It's been horrible. So I'm going to give this a 1 out of 10. Doesn't deserve anything more than that. I didn't like it. I feel like they've really just completely lost touch with everything. So 1 out of 10, that's where I'm at. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz, Kaged Nation, out.